Well, the African Union has suspended Sudan, and the UN has condemned violence in the country that's left dozens dead. The country has been under military rule since former President Omar al-Bashir was ousted in April. Citizens are demanding a civilian government. So for more on that and what exactly is going to be happening and what is next really in Sudan, we're joined now by political analyst Ismail Mahdi Osman. Ismail, thanks a lot for joining us on Newsnight this evening. It is quite a startling message that was actually sent on social media by the African Union, just saying that they're suspending the membership of Sudan following the ongoing fighting and civilians also being at the helm of what's happening in Sudan. Take us through that.
Thank you very much for allowing me this opportunity to explain some few ideas and to explain what's going on in Sudan. I would like first to take this opportunity to extend my condolences to the families of the Sudanese revolutionists, the Sudanese people who had been shot dead in the streets. And I'm talking to you now, and there is a funeral. There is a police officer, a captain, and he has been attacked in his house and shot dead in front of his children. And now they are the funeral is on right now. It is not fighting in Sudan. Actually, the people were sitting in since the 6th of April, after an 11th of April, the ousting of the former President Omar al-Bashir, and deposed him. But unfortunately, he was being taken by a military coup. Another military coup, not siding by the people, it was Plan B. Actually, it is a palace coup. They failed to protect Omar al-Bashir for 4 months. They are cracking on people. They were dispersing the using guns, killing people, shooting them, wounding them, and they failed. The regime collapsed and failed. So they used Plan B, and they just decided to sacrifice Omar al-Bashir, to take him away, and the regime to continue as it is. And this is why...
I remember this conversation, Ismail, because we even were running stories about how the military was protecting Omar al-Bashir in his compound.
Yes.
And there was infighting between the military, we had protesters as well, and the military was seen to be shooting at people in protection of Omar al-Bashir. But you're saying the very same military
Yes.
that was protecting him turned around and said, we failed in this one, we're going to give you Omar al-Bashir, but we're going to take the country.
Yeah, we take the country.
Yeah.
And you know whom they put? The chair of the military council. He was the first vice president of Omar al-Bashir and the minister of defense. So they took Muhammad and they brought Ahmad. Yeah, this is the game, and they played. And then...
Was Omar al-Bashir aware of the game that was being played, or did he get played in the game in itself?
I think it is Plan B. It is Plan B. And they said to him, look, we cannot help you anymore. And even at that moment, he said to them, you can kill half of the people, of the Sudanese people. Yes, because he said Islam says that. You are not allowed to protest or to go against the ruler. This is what has happened, and this is the fundamental reason why we are in a dilemma now. Because people, they think that the military coup is taking over from Omar al-Bashir and is siding with the revolution. This is not true. This is not true. This is the continuation of the same regime, but taking Omar al-Bashir away.
Does Omar al-Bashir have some form of influence over Sudan at this moment in time, or has he lost complete power?
Yeah, he lost complete power.
Yeah.
And the new generals, although they were his generals, and they were the architect and the executors of Darfur genocide, Hemeti, and the chair of the Transitional Military Council now, General al-Bashir, they were in Darfur, they killed the people, they were the executors, actually, of the genocide and the war against humanity and war crimes. And actually now the forces is taking over in Sudan, and in Khartoum particularly, is called It is the Janjaweed. They call it the Janjaweed. It is a terrorist militia. It is a terrorist militia. This is, they have committed Hemeti, General Hemeti. He is a militia leader in Darfur. He was a militia leader in Darfur. Just he moved from Darfur after he completed his job, after he accomplished his job, and then he came to Khartoum now, and he is occupying Khartoum now. It is not part of the military forces of Sudan. So it is not security forces. It is a militia, a terrorist militia.
So now, when it comes to the power of the people, right?
Yeah,
because reports are saying 108 people have been killed, about 500 who have been wounded as well in Khartoum at the moment. Are those reports correct, or are we seeing that more lives have been lost and we're just not able to report on the amount of lives? Because I remember even another broadcasting networks, their journalists were not allowed to report in that specific place.
I tell you what has happened. You know, people they went to the headquarters of the army on the 6th of April. And they asked the army to protect them and to take over and to give them. I think this is a mistake, is here. Anyhow, what has happened, the military told them that we took over, and they continue sitting in front of the army peacefully. I was there. I spent a week there.
You were there?
Yeah, we were there.
Yeah.
I spent a week there from 17th of April to 25th of April. I went there purposely. From here, I went there and I joined the sit-in front of the headquarters of the army. And it was very peaceful. People are chanting slogans, making some drawings. It is actually a cultural, it transformed into a cultural function with singings and with lectures, political lectures, everything. Very, 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 very peaceful.
And then what happened?
Then what happened, the army, or not the army, actually the Janjaweed, this terrorist militia led by General Hemeti, they decided to crack on the sit-in. They were not demonstrating. And this crack-in happened at 5 o'clock in the morning, while all of the sitting-ins, all of the people, they were sleeping in their tents. They were sleeping. They shot them. They raped the girls. They throw them in the Nile River. And it is not, it will never be 180, because now there are thousands and thousands missing. Those people, they tied them with stones and they throw them. And some of them are burnt while they were sleeping in the tents. So it is a complete genocide, ethnic cleansing, because also it has an ethnic element in this.
How?
You know, this militia, you remember the war in Darfur. The militia, this is an Arab militia called Janjaweed. And the rebels, the Darfurian rebels are African tribes, Zaghawa. So it has an element of racial and ethnic cleansing.
On the other side of it, we've got the African Union, which is really suspending and come out to suspend the membership of Sudan, and you know, speaking about how disappointed they are in terms of what's happening and their concerns. Do you think that the AU should be doing more, and what more can they do? Because if they're going to be suspending membership, surely that's not enough, where there's a genocide is taking place, and also there's an element of ethnic cleansing, and thousands, as you're saying, people were thrown in the Nile River, which we're not reporting on, by the way. So people are being thrown in the Nile River. Thousands of people are missing currently. Yes. What should the AU be doing?
I think the AU, it is too little, it is too late, but it is better. Better to come late than not to come at all. And why? Although this is the constitutive act of the African Union, And the Constitutive Act says that the African Union will not recognize any unconstitutional change of a government. You know, this is role. From day one, they should take this decision. But because President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, President of Egypt, he is the chairperson of the African Union in this 2019. So he played a game, and he even received Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, the chair of the president of the Sudan Transitional Military Council, and recognizing him. And this is against the constitution of the African Union itself. I think the African Union should take an action against its president. This is a fair thing, because he is supposed to protect the Constitution as the chairperson. And he is violating the Constitution. And he is tarnishing the image of the African Union. They should know that.
Ismail, we're going to leave our conversation there, but I think you've given some insightful thoughts that people should know about when it comes to Sudan, and also dispelling some of those reports that have been coming out, because it appears as though the situation is actually much more bigger than what we think, and it's much more dangerous, especially than we've actually made it out to be. It's a severe situation than what we made it up to be. So thanks a lot for joining us.
Can I just say a message? Send a message to the South African people and to the South African government,
go ahead.
To the ANC and to the EFF and to DA and to SAP, South Africa Communist Party, and to the civil organizations in South Africa, and to COSATU, and to all people of South Africa. I urge them, I beg them, please help us, help the Sudanese people. We are facing a restless militia, terrorist militia, killing our people, and the killing is going on and on and on. In the name of humanity, in the name of Pan-Africanism, I urge you, I beg you, South African, take one moment, 5 minutes, open the media, the Amnesty International, and see what atrocities, what we are going through. Thank you very much.
Ismail Mahdi Osman there giving us an insight.